Shepherd's always got a good battle.
The first of 5 Big East women's basketball games on the Big East Digital Network comes to you from Alumni Hall in Providence as the Friars welcome in the St. John's Red Storm. Welcome courtside, everybody. Great to have you with us. I'm John Phantom, joined by my partner, Sean St. Jacques. And for St. John's, they got a big win on Friday at Creighton, hopping into 5th place in the Big East, now at 8-6. Could get as high as 4th today. Joe Tartamella at his Johnnies and saw a complete performance.
Huge, John. A huge victory in Omaha last time out for the Red Storm. Quick turnaround. Providence today trying to play spoiler down the stretch in the Big East, John. These games are so big, and this is a big game today. No question about that. Johnny's looking to hop up even higher in the standings.
Just 3 weeks away from the Big East women's basketball tournament, so let's take a look at the projected bracket. Right now, St. John's would be the 5 seed. A win today and a Seton Hall loss at Creighton, and all of a sudden the Giants could get as high as 4th.
It's a big game, John, no question about that. Obviously the Pirates come here and get a big win over Providence earlier in the week, and now the Johnnies looking to follow suit as well, though those two teams seem to be in a collision course for that quarterfinal on March 7th. It's going to be a great tournament, John, no question about that, but still a lot to be determined before we get to Chicago.
The Red Storm getting guided by Kadasha Hoppy, who's averaging over 16 points per game and really charged St. John's and Omaha.
Now, not just the team's leading scorer, John, but she can get hot at any point in the game. There's been a couple of games this season with her where she's been a little slow at times at the beginning, but out of nowhere, she can come out and give you a really quick couple of possessions where she'll knock down some baskets. She gets hot in a hurry. She's one of the most all-around complete guards in the conference.
On the other side, Providence has lost 4 straight. They're looking to bounce back, and if they're going to do that, it has to come down low with Mary Baskerville.
Well, not only is she the team's leading scorer, John, but one of the best shot blockers in the country, almost 2 per game as far as block shots. And John ranks 21st in the country in field goal percentage, one of the most efficient players in the conference as well. She's going to be extremely important on both ends of the floor defensively and hopefully to lead the offense as well, which has been struggling at times for the Friars. They're hoping to turn that around today.
The first meeting between these two teams this season was just a 2-possession game. The 72nd meeting between St. John's and Providence is next.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing.
Hall, Providence in the special pink jerseys for the month of February, raising cancer awareness. St. John's in the whites. We talked about Mary Baskerville. Friars just fed it to her as she goes to the corner to Geary. Spiewak into the starting lineup today, and they turn it over. This is exactly what Jim Crowley did not want. St. John's in transition. Hoppy. Just off.
Like you said, John, not a good start there from Providence. You know, Spiewak tried to save that, but ended up being in a tough spot and gave it right back to St. John's. But Providence giving St. John's a couple of extra opportunities. It's going to be where Providence needs to be big today. Rebounding defensively, cutting off second chance opportunities.
Widmeyer just short. Providence coming off a 71-45 loss to Seton Hall. Now playing the role of spoiler in the Big East. Just 1 conference win. Emma Nolan in and out.
And that game really came down to 1 quarter, John. That third quarter between Seton Hall and Providence, where the Pirates played some of their best basketball the last couple of weeks, outscored Providence 24-6 in that quarter. Every other quarter was tight, but that 1 quarter kind of skewed the scoreline a bit, and the Pirates picked up a much-needed victory.
Here's Alyssa Geary, had 12 points on Friday, 4 on the timer. Baskerville traveled. Well, they only had 11 turnovers against Seton Hall, but that's been an issue this season for Providence.
It has been. On and off, John. You know, kind of the way Providence has been, especially in the Big East season. It's been inconsistent, and some games it's been pretty solid. You know, they haven't really given it away, and they kept themselves in the games. You know, last time against St. John's, they played them tight, but there have been a lot of times where Providence has been a little careless on the offensive end, and that time, like you said, chance to get 2 points, it leads to a turnover.
foul on Widmeyer. Our officials today, Keith Miller, Kevin Dillard, and Geraldine Smith.
On this end, she's in a good position. Baskerville's in a great spot to pick up a deuce and turns it over. Now leads to a chance for St. John's out of this inbounds play to pick up some points here.
Johnny's had 4 in double figures on Friday at Creighton. They led by 12 at the half. Brought their A game. Here's KB, the senior from Philly. We'll head to the line for 2. Getting fouled on the drive.
Boy, how tough is she? She's been so good all season for the Johnnies, and she's so elusive. Take another look on the drive here, and a little bit of a mismatch as far as speed-wise, and ends up getting to the rack and a chance for a couple at the line, but she's just been so good all season for the Red Storm. Of course, I jinx her there on the first free throw, but you just talk about her all-around game, and she puts up the point. She's one of the best defensive guards, I'd say, in the conference, and just does it so, on both ends. And every year Joe Tartamella's got great guards. It's something we talk about every year with the Red Storm. Tiana England's having another great season as well, and just phenomenal. The backcourt for the Red Storm is always as solid as it gets in this Big East Conference.
The St. John's team can play 5 out. KB is a vital rebounder for them. 13 points, 12 rebounds on Friday as Erlette Scott turns it over. And Providence not off to the start they wanted to get off to after a tough loss to Seton Hall.
That's an unforced turnover as well, John. Hoppy's not really that tight on her defensively, and second travel early going here in the first quarter for the Friars.
England had 9 assists on Friday. This time she's short. It'll stay with St. John's because of the hustle from Alston.
Extra effort there by Alston, and she's had some really big games at times as well for the Red Storm. Alyssa Alston, and that time the extra effort ends up leading to this second chance.
We got another foul. That's a third foul on Providence already here in the first 3 minutes. You combine that with the 3 turnovers.
7:12 to go in the first quarter, and Johnny's already knocking on the door of the bonus here, and it's only 1-0, but the fouls are piling up, and again, a couple of turnovers on some unforced errors for Providence.
Hoppy dials it up from 3.
It's only a matter of time with her, isn't it? Got a good look, knocks it down. Normally if she knocks down the first shot, the opposition's in for a long day.
She had 3 trifectas Friday at Creighton. A career-high 27 against DePaul last weekend. Baskerville got fouled by Nolan going up.
Boy, it was getting physical there, John, before the ball even got there. Nolan was on the hardwood after it was a battle inside, but that's what Baskerville can do, and she has a chance at the line for a pair.
Mary Baskerville was the first Friar to be named Big East Freshman of the Year since 1989. You'd have to go back to Tracy Liss. Only the second in program history. And now Jim Crowley wants to see her take that next step leadership-wise.
And, of course, Liss's number's hanging up in this building. So that tells you a lot about how big of an honor that is.
Hoppy from deep. Oh, Hugh is hot. Kadasha Hoppy out of the Patrick School. Baskerville, the answer.
Well, our 2 players to watch, John, go back-to-back on either end. Q's already warming up for the Johnnies. Baskerville just gets good position. That's what they're trying to get on the offensive end, gets an easy bucket.
KB short. Here's Widmeyer. And we've got a foul underneath.
Thought we were getting into a little bit of a pattern there. I thought it was going to be a travel call. Ends up being a foul away from the ball. Not really what you need there if you're the Red Storm. Nothing was really happening yet on that possession, and you give away kind of a cheap off-the-ball foul, and you saw the look on, at least we did, on Joe Tartamella's face. Not exactly the start to that possession they were hoping for defensively, kind of giving that one away.
Baskerville on the back door. Ball fake over Raven Farley. Mary Baskerville came to play.
That was just pure technique, John, on the offensive end. Great ball fake, finds the opening. Easy bucket, much needed for the Friars.
The sophomore's got all 6 for the Friars. The Stars setting the tone in this one as Hoppy gets fouled by Widmeyer. That's the 4th foul on the Friars. The next one is going to put St. John's to the line.
And this might come back to haunt the Friars in this quarter, John. I mean, these fouls early on are going to help St. John's maybe in just a few moments. The next one obviously sends them to the charity stripe, but it's just good ball handling there by Hoppy, and the defender can't stay with her and ends up having to commit the foul.
St. John's 3rd in the Big East in free throw percentage, 75%. Farley has checked in for Emma Nolan, who's out with the 2 fouls. This is a backcourt violation. And so, despite some things going against Providence, their best player, Mary Baskerville, has been able to respond, and we just got a 1-point game, a chance for them to take the lead right here.
And this pace is relatively close, I think, to what Jim Crowley's hoping for, John. And it's been relatively slow. It's not been too up and down so far. I think rather Alston that time just wasn't looking on that pass to Farley. It was almost a no-look pass. Farley wasn't anticipating it, and it's a turnover chance for the Friars to take the lead here.
10 on the shot clock. Chanel Williams from the Bronx, New York. Long. Bristow trying to get the rebound, but it'll go back to St. John's, and we will take a timeout. 1-point game here between 2 longtime Big East rivals. The Friars upset-minded here at Alumni Hall. St. John's up 1.
You're watching St. John's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
It's the pink weekend here at Alumni Hall. Providence raising awareness for breast cancer. Gloria Gemmer, Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Really special events here, and we see these all throughout the month of February. We are at Alumni Hall, where Providence is in a 1-point game with St. John's. Red Storm up 7-6. But you said it, Sean. This is the type of tempo Providence wants to play.
And Mary Baskerville's gotten a lot of good opportunities down low. She turned it over once on a traveling violation, John, but other than that, using her size and her strength to Providence's advantage so far. And the Red Storm have gotten some good looks, but a couple of turnovers have given Providence a couple of extra possessions. And despite the foul trouble, at least team-wise, that Providence is in, it's been a decent start for the Friars, who are trying to play spoiler here today.
Hoppy foul by Scott going up.
Yeah, but Q's been knocking down a couple of shots early, John, and you just tell already it's going to be a tough guard for Providence defensively with her ball handling ability and her quickness. I mean, already a couple of fouls that really have been because of her quickness and her ball handling ability.
shooting 84% from the free throw line in Big East play. She was nominated for the 2017 McDonald's All-American game when she was at the Patrick School. Joe Tartamella has talked about her hard work as Correa gets the board. She really got after it in the summer. This time she commits an offensive foul.
Well, mistakes on both ends there. Bristow didn't block out on the foul shot, John. Nobody really picked up Correa for the offensive rebound, but then Hoppy got a little too aggressive and ends up picking up the foul on the charge.
Little pressure from the Red Storm out of the timeout.
Trying to quicken it up, obviously, trying to make the Friars get out of their game a little bit, and obviously when the Red Storm are going defensively, they can force some turnovers and get out in transition with the best of them in the conference.
Bristow could not finish. Look at KB battle.
How tough is she? And what a great move inside. Just didn't get the finish by Bristow, but KB never gives up on any possession. Just the DNA of this Joe Tartamella squad.
England could not hit. Williams with the spin and a foul on Bailey. That's the 4th team foul on St. John's.
No field goals now, John, in almost 3 minutes for the Red Storm. And boy, it looked like England was, 9 times out of 10, she finishes that drive and gets the bucket. Not that time, though. And Providence defensively stands up strong.
Bristow guarded by Bailey. Kick out to Spiewak. Here's Williams flipping it up. That's not the shot Jim Crawley wants to see. St. John's, they've had a really strong year offensively. 2nd in the Big East with 73 points per game. Their most since the mid-90s. Just a few shy of the program record set in the 70s. Hoppy again. This one's long, and these two teams not where they want to be offensively.
Not to take anything away from this year's team, John, but you think that, the other great teams that Joe Tartamella's had, that record might have been broken a couple of times, but just shows you how impressive this year's team has been offensively. And like you said, though, it's been a lot of bricks. First start to this game. Another foul, and that's going to get us into the bonus. Very, well, I'll say earlier than I think we anticipated.
It's on Alyssa Geary, so that brings Mary Baskerville back in. Baskerville has all 6 of Providence's points.
And Hoppy has 7 of 8 of the Red Storm's points so far.
Alyssa Alston, Ole Miss transfer. She was terrific on Friday at Creighton. 16 points on an efficient 5 of 8 from the field. We'll see if Providence can find Baskerville again.
They're going to need to. It seems like nothing else is working right now for Coach Crowley, but they're, Red Storm are starting to pay some more attention to her, and almost got a wedgie on that try, but a great second chance try by Bristow, but it's with the Johnnies.
Here comes Alston. Pull up. Bailey got the board, but threw it away.
And until that ball was thrown away, John, that was textbook Red Storm offense. Getting out quick, getting a good look. That pass, though, leaves a lot to be desired. Could have easily gotten a second chance opportunity there. But like you said, it hasn't been Baskerville. It hasn't been happening yet for the Friars offensively.
Bristow. Providence 0 for their last 5. In a 4-minute scoring drought with 6 on the timer. Bristow, tough 2. Could not hit. Baskerville. It's the Mary Show. She's got 8. Hoppy. Correa, she had her shot altered by Spiewak.
Correa has been so vital at times for St. John's, and looks like they're going to change the call. I think Coach Crowley might have had a little bit to do with that, making sure they at least talked about it, and Joe Tartamella's wondering why they didn't listen to him.
Exactly. Coach Crowley said that went off of Correa, and they end up changing the call. Kevin Dillard on the whistle. Mary Baskerville could not hit. Farley defending her, and then Farley gets fouled.
Great defense there by Farley. Giving up a little bit in size, maybe a couple of inches, but uses her strength to alter the shot, and the LSU transfer ends up getting fouled after she kept Baskerville off the boards on that second try.
Raven Farley was a highly touted recruit out of high school. Ranked 19th overall in her class, 5th nationally at her position by ESPN. And they're trying to find all that potential and bottle it up into some results. Now a junior, she's from Elizabeth, New Jersey.
I mean, you see the signs, John. I've had her a couple of times this year, and you see...
Yeah, great at Seton Hall.
I mean, yeah, you can just see the potential in her game. But like you said, just at times she gets lost in the, maybe just the fact that there's so many good guards on this St. John's team, the way they like to run up and down the floor at times. And you can just see when she gets involved offensively, and you just saw it there defensively, and she can be a heck of a player.
Scott, that's an unfriendly bounce. Alston can flat out fly. On the other end, Cooper lays it off to Spiewak, who can't get it to go. It'll stay with Providence. Tons of contact underneath.
Well, that's the third shot this quarter that just hasn't fallen for the Friars. And, I mean, the acceleration from Alston at the other end, I mean, turning on the Jets to turbo, getting to the basket, I mean, really impressive. I mean, she's been doing that all year, but you never get tired of seeing her turn it up on the offensive end.
A 1 second difference between shot and game clock here. Kayla Webb just checking in, fade away. Here comes St. John's with 5. Plenty of time for England, off to Hoppy, who's long, and that'll do it for quarter number 1. Kadasha Hoppy with 8 of her team's 14 points. St. John's looking to handle business on the road and get a weekend sweep away from Carnesecca Arena. 10 down, 30 to go on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on Big East Digital Network.
We're all in, all together. Great voices ready to start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3. Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together, and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we are at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Welcome back to Providence, Rhode Island. Big East Women's Basketball on the BEDN. The first of 5 games today on the Big East Digital Network, which you can access on Caffeine TV as well as YouTube. John Fanta, Sean St. Jacques with you. And the Friars caught some misfortune down the stretch in the first quarter. A couple of looks that could have easily gone down. Instead, they trailed by 6 because of Kadasha Hoppe.
Yeah, Q's been great in the first quarter, John. I mean, we've seen it in a number of different ways, shooting the basketball, getting to the rim, accelerating up and down the floor. I mean, Alston as well has been fun to watch in the early going as well. She's had a couple of chances to show what she can do as well on the ball now for the Johnnies, and just that quickness she has.
Ooh.
I mean, how impressive is that? And she's been doing that all season for the Red Storm, and she's probably one of the guards in the conference that's not talked about enough, I would say.
6 points for Alyssa Alston. Alston and Hoppe. The duo on Friday carrying it right into Rhode Island, despite the long trek from Nebraska. Hoppe baseline. Euro. Farley. In and out. Comes out to Williams.
Boy, another one that wouldn't drop on the rim. Felt like the other ones that Providence had missed in the first quarter. Hoppe made that happen, though, on that baseline drive, and Farley just didn't get the bounce.
Spiewak from the corner. Long. St. John's traveling over 1,400 miles yesterday morning, and it doesn't seem to matter. They're all business right now as England puts it in off the window.
Starting to slowly but surely turn towards St. John's' tempo here. It's getting quicker, and the guards are taking advantage for the Red Storm out in the open floor.
8-0 run. That's off of England's foot. And so they'll set the clock to 20, and the Friars will keep it as Scott and Widmeyer come back in. What needs to change for Providence offensively?
I think just half-court, better decision-making, John. I think there's Spiewak's kind of rushed a couple of shots the last couple of possessions, and obviously Baskerville not being out there these last few possessions hasn't helped either, but other players have been scoring for Providence this season. It's about getting better looks, and I think it's been a little rushed at times in the half court, at least as far as the shots themselves.
Andrea Cooper was stuffed by Farley. What a denial. It'll go back to St. John's.
Yeah, that possession, as they say, John, was going nowhere fast, and a couple of chances to get some good looks, kind of passed up some open shots, and then Farley is not going to be stopped there. Has the denial underneath.
Farley, the pull-up. That's the LSU transfer's ability.
I mean, when that shot's falling, there's not much you can do to stop her with her size and her strength, and not much you can do to stop St. John's when that option is available.
A 6-0 run out of the gates in the second quarter. Friars need a bucket. Cooper rejected by Farley again. Geary off. England with the board. Raven Farley has turned it up a notch. You think St. John scores here? A timeout could be incoming. Farley.
Seems like the defense for the Red Storm is just filtering towards Farley right now, and every time they get inside, she's meeting them right at the rim.
Friars are ice cold. They're 3 for 20 from the field.
And you see that possession, John. They didn't want no part of Farley that time. They wanted to stay right out of the paint, and they force up a tough contested three-point jump shot, and Coach Tartamella will take that all game long.
Providence 0 for 5 from 3 as well. Ice cold. England, elbow, got it. Timeout, Providence. St. John's is on a 12-0 surge. The Red Storm in total control in Rhode Island.
You're watching St. John's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in. I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead. We got to raise it up.
March 6th to the 9th, Wintrust Arena is the place to be in Chicago. It's the Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust for a third straight year. You can head to www.bigeast.com/WBB tickets. All session ticket booklets start at just $50 per package. There's courtside seating available. You can get single session tickets as low as $15. It's a great way in Chicago to see some championship caliber basketball all throughout the weekend. Even on the Friday of the tournament this year, it's moved a day back, you've got a couple of Kids' Day games, which will start out at 11 a.m. local time and roll on throughout the afternoon.
How good is that?
Yeah.
You get the kids involved, and these games mean so much. It's going to be great seeing the kids. It's great with all the schools during the year. You get a chance to have at least a couple of Kids' Days. You get skip school a little bit, watch the hoops and things like that.
We love Kids' Day.
Oh, it's awesome. And the crowds for those games are amazing. To bring that for a big-time game with the season on the line, what a great combination that is. And the kids are going to see big-time basketball with everything on the line and get a chance to see that at such a young age live. What a cool experience for those kids. That's a really great thing the conference is doing.
Providence has not scored in 6 minutes. Now 3 for 22 from the field. St. John's defending well, but the Friars are cold. In and out for Correa.
The thing is, John, they're getting good looks on a number of the possessions, but then the Red Storm get this going on the defensive end.
Correa, dynamic freshman, steal and score.
Boy, how good was that? I mean, at times this season, John, she could take over a game defensively, and that almost looked too easy. It's almost like she wanted it back after she got the injustice on the rim out on the previous possession and said, no, I'm getting my points.
A foul on Correa off the ball. How about the firepower of this St. John's team and the fact that they're in 5th in the Big East? They've got to be looked at as a dark horse in the conference tournament.
They're there. I mean, they're in the mix. I mean, there's no question about that, John, but they come at you in so many different ways, and when they're playing at this level, you can't even get the ball in. You can't even get the ball in without somebody getting up in your grill and knocking it away.
Friars come up with it this time. Baskerville with the deflection and the steal.
I mean, they're relentless at times, John. I mean, when they're on, there have been times where the Johnnies have struggled this season, like any team in this conference, but that's the Big East. You're going to go through some tough stretches at times, even the top teams in the conference, but and when that's not going in, it's just not your day.
I'll tell you, there's a lid on the bucket right now, folks. There is a lid on the bucket for the Friars. They have had 3 in-and-out layups.
I mean, as the great Tim Brando would say, the rim is just rude right now.
Yeah, it is. It's disrespectful. We got an offensive foul now. Offensive foul called underneath. Looks like actually they're going to look at this. Baskerville with the elbow.
Yeah, there's a block there, John, by England, and then Baskerville kind of lifts her elbow towards England, and they're definitely going to look at this to see if it's worth more than just a common foul.
Which in that case it would be deemed an intentional foul.
This is the tough part with these, and you just mentioned it, John, the intent. You know, was it a basketball move, and was it obviously within the scope of it? And official coming over letting us know that they are taking a look at this, and what's the intent, and is that a basketball move? And you know, Baskerville, I mean, is she really looking in that direction when she lifts her elbow? I mean, you can clear out space. I mean, that's the thing about that, John, but it comes down to what was the intent? Could she have avoided the contact as well? I mean, that's probably something they're looking at as well with the officials, but I'll tell you what, it'd be a tough way for this first half to continue for the Friars.
So here it is again. I also want to check here. Baskerville with the rejection. Let's watch England's reaction. Did she really hit her? That's my question, too. That might be an acting job.
Another look at it.
I don't know.
You know
that's
what?
An acting job.
You know what? Closer look. I mean, that's up for discussion. No question about that. It has been the end of Oscar season, John, if that is the case. But, you know, I mean, it's so tough to tell.
It is. It's difficult to tell from that, but it doesn't look like there's a heavy dosage of contact made there by Baskerville from that view.
It's a great view of the look. I think it'd be a little harsh to give that as an intentional foul.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you.
Because also considering the fact that, you know, it's a basketball play. She's clearing out space off the rebound. That would tend to me to feel like it's, I mean, we'll get another look at it here from another angle. Gets the rebound off the block and
I don't know. No, this is not.
I don't know.
This is not an intentional foul in my estimation. I don't even think that England got hit.
It's always tough when it's slowed down, but I would be pretty surprised if they gave this more than a common foul.
Our officials, again, Keith Miller, Kevin Dillard, and Geraldine Smith. This is quite a long discussion.
Well, that's the thing, John. They're probably talking about what we're talking about. You know, did she actually make contact? And it's tough to tell because, you know, if it's an acting job, it's a good acting job, and it's tough to tell if she really did make contact there. But, of course,
exactly.
if she did, you know,
right. That's a good point, too, Sean.
It's coming down to that, and I think, you know, if there's some doubt here, I think you probably stick with what the call is on the floor. I think it's a common foul.
Now, I'm going to say this right now. I was a flopper as a player, so I know what flopping looks like.
Oh, no, you were you?
Yeah, here they come.
Here we go.
Here he comes. What do you got for us? Nothing! I knew it, Sean! They had nothing! Hold on, say it in the microphone. What do you got for us?
It's just a common foul.
It's a common foul. Okay. You know what?
Thank you, sir.
We are always criticized for criticizing you. Great job. Just pounded the rock. Great job. Great job.
He's a great sport. We were a little.
That was the call of the season. I love that.
Sure, it took a while, but they got it right. I think that's the. I love. He comes over. There's a big drum roll, at least in my head. Nothing. We got nothing. It's basketball. How good is that?
Oh, that was great. Correa from the corner. Well, the break did not help there. Oh, we got more contact. Bodies flying. Farley went down with Spiewak.
Yeah, I'm hoping Farley didn't hit her head on the hardwood there, John, and slow to get up. They might want to be slow a little bit unless they know she's all right, but yeah, she fell pretty hard on the ground going up for that, and I think that's the right move by Joe Tartamel, just to bring her out for a second and make sure she's okay. She went down pretty hard, using her strength to go up for that rebound, and what a great first half Farley's had as well, John, on both ends of the floor. Just hope that she's okay, nothing too serious.
Oh, Hoppy threw it away. Fryer's going with his own. The 2-3 zone, Sean.
That was weird. I mean, just, I guess not, miscommunication, that kind of a thing. Maybe just didn't pick your head up on the cut to the basket, but that's a rare St. John's mistake where it didn't look like, two players that I think realized that was going to happen on that possession. A little odd to see that from normally sound Johnny's team offensively, especially in that situation in the half court.
Curie got it to go, and that snaps an 8-minute scoring drought.
That was due, long overdue for the Friars, John, and they finally got a bounce on that rim. Somebody's kind of leaked the lid off the top of it, and finally one goes for the Friars.
The 2-3 zone throwing St. John's off a little bit here. This is what Creighton did, a 1-2-1 variation of it, rather a 1-2-2 variation of it on Friday. They really threw St. John's off with the zone in the fourth quarter. $12 on the timer, and we get a foul on Alston. Just the second team foul on St. John's.
You've seen Widmeyer really trying to clear out some space to find an area inside the paint to get a good look. I mean, Providence is having to work so hard at times offensively, John, just to get a look. I mean, St. John's defensively, we're in crunch time. At the end of this Big East season, I mean, if you're not coming to play now, you're running out of time. I mean, the Johnnies defensively have been really impressive in this first half, although, again, Providence has been unlucky a couple of times. The lid's been on the rim. But they finally got out of that scoring drought, but the Johnnies are making them work on every possession.
Another foul on Alston. That's her second. Unique Drake, the freshman coming in for Alston, and Drake, a 4-star recruit, ranked 75th overall. Joe Tartamella really likes her potential, but with all the guard depth they have, it's tough to find minutes.
It is, especially for this season, John, but that's the beauty of this team and this stretch that Coach Tartamella's been on in the backcourt. At some point, she could be where England and Hoppy and Alston are and starring for this team in a season or two.
Williams flips it up and spins in. Janelle Williams, pride of the Bronx.
You just kind of feel the crowd just, all right, we got a couple to go here. Can we sustain this, get back into this game?
Drake, way off. KB cleans up the mess.
Boy, she's in the right place at the right time a lot, isn't she? Right underneath, gets good positioning, easy putback.
Widmeyer off on the three. Providence is 0 for 7 from deep.
Not a lot of the shots have been in rhythm, John. I mean, a lot of them have been like that, kind of rushed, contested threes, and there's a reason they're not going in. They're just not getting great looks, at least from the perimeter.
12 on the shot clock. KB on the crossover, stuck because of Scott. England is fouled. Hand check foul on Widmeyer. That's her third foul.
And a bit of a bailout, too. I think there was 6 left on the shot clock when the foul was called, and you give the Red Storm some new life in this possession, and they get the luxury of using a little more clock if they'd like to as well.
Williams in transition with speed, but short on the runner. And that just opens it up for St. John's. England travel. Well, you look up and things have not gone well for Providence, but it is a 14-point game here. Try to get into 10 by the half.
Big possession here for the Providence Friars, no question about that. 1:30 to go, John. Like you said, a score and a stop could give you a big chance to get back into this game with a whole half to go, but this is a big possession.
For St. John's, today was about handling business. They've done that thus far. Bristow's off, gets it back, and one for the freshman.
She's been the one that's been having trouble with that lid on the rim, John. 0 for 4 before that one goes in, plus the foul. They can get her going. They just kind of need somebody else besides Baskerville to get going. And obviously Baskerville's been on the bench for a while in this first half, but it's just one of those things where Bristol's been in good position at times, just hasn't gotten them to go. And that time misses the free throw, but it was a big bucket. You're back within 12, and this is a big possession now defensively, although it might almost was given back to them. And now you're trying to build off of that and give yourself a chance to maybe, just maybe, cut this thing to single digits.
Final minute of this first half. Hoppy from deep. Short. Friars could go 2 for 1 if they get something off quickly. Scott does, but can't hit. Gets it back. Geary with the spin and the left hand. Some versatility from the sophomore. A turnover. St. John's could have held it for the final shot. Instead, Providence can get within single digits.
And I don't think anybody was looking up at the clock. I don't think anybody realized that the shot clock was turned off and the Red Storm handed over.
Providence with 5. Williams got a step and puts it in. The Friars close the half strong and are within 8.
We talked about it, John. It only took a couple possessions, but defensively, Providence held firm. St. John's makes a huge mistake on the turnover. Big bucket at the end of the first half. Providence is in this, folks, and there's a long way to go.
A 10-2 surge by the Friars. We've got ourselves an 8-point game at the break here at Alumni Hall on the Big East Digital Network.
You're watching Providence basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices ready to start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
The pink out weekend here at Providence College. And the fans have had something to cheer about down the stretch in the first half. Friars within 8 of St. John's. This is the time of year where the watch lists, the finalists come out. And how about Kelly Campbell of DePaul? We'll get to her in a moment. First, we look at some of the Big East Nature Award winners. And Jalen Agnew with the career-high 38 against Providence last weekend.
How good was that? I mean, she's had such a good season. The Jays are hanging around too, John. They're hanging in the mix. As far as the Big East tournament is concerned, Agnew's a big reason why. But I've had the pleasure of watching Maddie Siegrist a number of times this season, John, up close. And a red shirt last season, didn't play any competitive games for Villanova. And Coach Harry Peretta has really developed her into one of the best scorers in the conference. And she's going to have a really strong career in the Big East. Going to be one of the stars probably of the next year and years to come.
And then the Big East honor roll this past week. Kristen Spolier of Butler. The Bulldogs lost to DePaul Friday, but they were 9-3 to start the conference season. Really just a terrific start. And you've got a couple of impact seniors along with her, Stonewall Samuels-Kadeka. What a senior class.
It's unbelievable. I mean, Shadeen Samuels had an amazing season despite some injuries for Seton Hall. Shantae Stonewall had a career high at Seton Hall a couple of games ago, 29 points at Walsh Gym in South Orange. And Mary Kadeka, I mean, how important she's been for Villanova this season. You can't quantify it. She's been phenomenal, and she's the reason Villanova's hanging around in the Big East.
We were talking about Kelly Campbell, another one of those great seniors. Take a look at the Nancy Lieberman Point Guard of the Year candidates, and Kelly of those finalists with some great players. Sabrina Nescu from Oregon. I'll tell you what, in the northeast part, she may be playing for a mid-major, but Stella Johnson, a rider. You think about Campbell, first in assist-to-turnover ratio in the country, 5.54, 144 assists, and she just does not turn the ball over.
And that's the thing, talk about DePaul ball, everyone loves talking about it, and that's the DNA of it. The assists, passing, being quick on the offensive end, and Kelly Campbell has been the biggest part of that at times for DePaul this season, John, and clearly one of the favorites for this great award, the prestigious Nancy Lieberman Point Guard of the Year. And again, the numbers tell you not only does she fit the DNA that Doug Bruno has, but one of the best players in the country.
Providence closing out the first half on a 6-0 run. We'll talk more about it after this on the Big East Digital Network.
You're watching St. John's basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
We're all in, all together. Great voices ready to start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Big East Fast Break is the weekly women's basketball show hosted by Megan Caffrey and Ashley Liotis, breaking down everything in Big East women's hoops. You can catch all new episodes of Fast Break during the season every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. on the Big East Twitter and YouTube pages. With Valentine's Day this week, Megan and Ashley spread some love across the Big East.
Decided to spread the love for Valentine's Day that's coming up. We looked around the league, and here are some of the Valentines that we have. My first one is going to go to the Seton Hall freshman guards, Lauren Park Lane and Maya Jackson. Lauren starts for the Pirates, and she is just this little engine that goes. She provides such a spark. And then Maya Jackson, she leads the team in three-pointers. And what's more, she really hits triples when it matters. She had 3 3-pointers in the Pirates game against DePaul, and then I think you go all the way back to UConn. She had 5 3-pointers in this game. Little girl, big-time shots.
And my first pick, spreading the love around the league, I'm going to go with Shantae Stonewall. We heard from her earlier in the show, but I was with her for both games this weekend as they made their way into New York. And on Sunday, she had a career high of 29 points, a double-double with 10 rebounds as well. And she's just been lights out. She had 24 points in the first half alone. Really helped her team on Friday as well make that win, that big push for the win against St. John. And I was actually talking to her a little bit off camera on Sunday and just about some of her career highs. And even her sports information director said, oh yeah, that was a career high, that was a career high, that was a career high. All of these taking place on Sunday. So lots of love going out to her because she had a lights out performance this weekend.
Although the Providence Friars record doesn't show it, this Friars team has a fight in them. You looked at their game most recently against Creighton. They were down just 5 at the half. Then into the third quarter, they cut their deficit from double digits to single digits. This Friars team, they are young, but they have a fight in them. Their last 5 games, here's a nugget for how young they are. In the Friars' last 5 games, their starting lineup has been all underclassmen. They are young, they have a fight in them, and they are showing that.
And finally, spreading the love around the league, we got to end with some puppy love. Oh, yeah, I am talking about Butler Blue the Fourth. We saw him a little bit on camera. He got some screen time earlier this weekend. I think we have a little bit of that video to share with you. There he is. Are you kidding me? Look at that face. Oh my gosh, he is so precious. He is just so cute, Megan. Like I said, he is in the training right now. So if you go on some of his social media, he is in puppy training. Actually, they're going to be passing the collar to him, Butler the Third. Passing the collar to him. That's happening at Hinkle Fieldhouse on February 29th. They're asking everyone to wear white in support of passing the collar, but Butler the Third, we thank you for all of your hard work. And Butler the Fourth, almost out of puppy school, I think, and he's ready to go. He looks well trained. He looked like it there.
I don't think I've ever been more jealous before in my life than when I was watching John Fanta and Kim Adams, who were on the call for Butler's game on Sunday, with the selfies that they had with the puppy. I was just like, I wish I was there right now.
I would have just let him lay in my lap and call the game. That's it. That's all you need.
Feeding treats all throughout the game.
Exactly.
Now let's take decided to spread the love for Valentine's Day that's coming up. We looked around the league, and here are some of the Valentines that we have. My first one is
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we are at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
Welcome back here to Alumni Hall in Providence. We are at the half. St. John's head coach Joe Tartamella, his team up 26-18. And for Joe, his life goes beyond his St. John's basketball family. He's got 4 kids and a wonderful wife, Shannon. They reside in Long Island, New York. Brady, JJ, Riley, as well as Tierney. And earlier this week, the Red Storm Report Show had a special feature on Joe Tartamella at home.
Hey guys, come on in.
St. John's. That's where it started, in the women's basketball office.
I'm so excited I got my first opportunity to be on a coaching staff. So I get to St. John's, and I'm going to be the GA. So I come in, I'm all fired up. I can't wait. It's going to be like the greatest thing that's ever happened.
And then, of course, I was given the initial job of giving him the campus tour, like within minutes of him walking through the door. And obviously, you know, just from the job, you spend a lot of time with people, so whether you want to get to know them really well or not, you do. So, you know, it certainly started as a friendship, and an easy friendship.
After getting to know my wife over time, you know, I think that's when, you know, I started to understand kind of where my feelings were, my emotions were about her, and here we are, baby number 4. Balancing being a coach and a parent, it's ever changing at this point because we went from no kids to 1 to 2 to 3 and now 4. Whether you're coaching basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, a college sport in general, you're missing time with your kids somewhere, whether it's a sporting event, something for school. So for them to be on the road, you know, it's great to be able to share that with them. It's great to be able to share them with that, you know, at games where like now Brady, who's about to be 9, is giving me his analysis after the game, and he knows all the players, and even JJ now at 5 is doing that now too. So now that they're really into it, they know what's going on. It's a lot of fun because you get to hear their take on the game.
Last week at my son's basketball game, they asked me if this was the baby's first basketball game. And I'm like, man, this baby, she's been to JMU, she's been to UNLV, she's been to Butler, she's been to Xavier. And they were like, what, you know?
You get to have them with you sharing those, you know, moments of success and during the difficult times. You know, when we won the Big East in 16, to be able to look in the stands and they were there, that was like, that's a big moment. Like if they weren't there, it probably wouldn't have been as whole of an experience.
Even like the road games and like the traveling, you know, I love being there. Like I love being a part of that, and I think the kids love it, and they're just used to it. For them, it's not like they're at a special event or anything special. It's just part of life for them. They're used to that.
To have the ability to be married to someone and loved by someone who is part of and understands what you do is, you don't get that often. So there's an understanding of probably what I'm dealing with on a daily basis more than it would be with someone who hadn't been in the business or didn't understand what you're going through on a daily basis. So couldn't be more fortunate to be with someone who does understand that.
Joe Tartamella just saw his great family. His wife Shannon has to hold down the house while he's on the road in the Big East, and they're a wonderful family as we take a look at some of the halftime stats. What stands out to you from this one?
You know, it starts on the rebounding, +7 for the Red Storm there. I thought Providence might be able to make that a little bit of a tighter battle on the boards, John, but really the big one, 0 for 7 from 3. Providence just has not gotten the best of looks from downtown, and the Red Storm not shooting great from 3 either, but they've knocked down a couple and getting to the free throw line as well. 6 of 8. They missed a couple, but only 2 of 2 for the Friars at the line. I think Coach Crowley would hope to change that a little bit in the second half, get to the line a little bit more if they can, because they've been getting good looks inside. They just haven't been knocking them all down and gotten a couple of tough bounces on the rim, and it's been one thing that, you know, be unlucky, but you got to keep going, keep persistent. I mean, they're in this game. I mean, they had a great finish of that first half.
Question.
A lot of time left, and it's about getting it inside because right now they're not knocking it down from 3. They're not getting great looks from the perimeter, and they obviously have to not turn the ball over that much either. It's going to give the Johnnies extra possessions.
A 7th Friar turnover. Not the way that Jim Crowley wanted to see his team start the second half. Extra pass to the corner. Alston just short. Rebound for Nolan, who had to exit out of this game early due to 2 fouls. England again to Alston. A second try. In and out. Rebound by Baskerville.
She's been fighting hard, Nolan, on the offensive end, trying to get some opportunities. And she was here really early before any of her other teammates were putting up shots and putting in that extra work you love to see players get. And it pays off that time, though. Great ball movement Spiewak knocks it down.
The first Friar trifecta, 1 for 9 from 3. KB. Tough pass to Alston, who reeled it in. 12 on the shot clock. Friars defending. KB couldn't get the friendly roll.
Yeah, Baskerville got let off the hook there. Got a contest on that.
What's up with this rim?
And something's wrong with it. Someone's got to pop the cap off the top of that thing, I'm telling you.
Offensive foul on Baskerville setting the screen. And here's the problem, Sean. Baskerville just committed their 4th foul. It's off the ball. It's something you can control. But this has been an issue for Providence throughout Baskerville's entire career.
She now has as many fouls as field goal attempts in this game, John. That just tells you all you need to know about where Coach Crowley's, I mean, you just can see it on his face, the disappointment there. Just so unnecessary, and Baskerville is so important to this team now exits, and Friar's going to be feeling like they're playing with a man down for a lot of this third quarter.
2-3 zone. Hoppy beats it with a 3.
That's the problem when you play zone against the Red Storm. They're going to get those open looks for their guards, and at some point, they're going to knock them down. And when you got Q on your side, you got a chance.
3 threes for Hoppy. Deflection from Nolan. Another turnover. Friars have 9 of those now. Alston double screen. Hoppy again. Oh, Q. It's her world. Hoppy is rolling. The answer from Geary.
Big response. I think that was a 2 on the Q shot on the previous possession. Huge shot from Geary. 7 points now.
Had 12 on Friday.
She can fill it up. Just about getting her those open looks. That was a huge response, John, keeping it within striking distance. Still a single-digit game.
Alston off the fake. Extra pass to KB, but we got a traveling violation call. Joe Tartamella cannot believe it.
Oh, it's a killer. It's such a great pass underneath. KB, I mean, you look at her face. I mean, she can't believe the call either. Tough from our vantage point to get a great look at it. We'll get a good look at it, though, on the replay here. And, oh, boy. Well, I'll say this. Widmeyer was looking for it. I'll say that. That's a tough one, I think. That could have.
Yeah. Yep.
That could have been 2 points for the Johnnies.
12 on the shot clock. Geary on the back down. The sophomore could not hit it with the left hand. Bristow got the rebound. Geary for 3. Rebound by KB. Look at England go. A blast of speed. Well, you got Tiana, Kadasha, England, and Hoppy. When they're on, another stop, and here comes Hoppy. The speed of this team, it can kill. KB, just short.
I mean, they are running and rolling right now. The freight train is coming down the tracks, John, and Providence has either got to stop it or they better get out of the way.
Well, that's just not the pass that you want to throw Geary to Bristow, and off the turnover. We've got a motion here for an intentional foul.
Looked like the right call from the first look at it, John. Bristow with a frustration foul, it looked like, after the possession was lost there for Providence. Another look at it. Oh, yeah. She grabbed her right on the, well, I think it was the shoulder. Let me take another look. Might have been the arm, actually. Yeah, right on the forearm, John, and kind of whipped her around.
This will be an intentional foul on Bristow. They made the call right away.
Not going for the ball. That's a clear intentional foul.
Jim Crowley's pretty surprised by it. because here's the thing, Sean, it happened off a rebound. It didn't look like much live.
Yeah.
But we're looking at the replay here, and Kevin Dillard and Keith Miller were all over it.
Well, it starts with the reaction, right, of the player who gets the foul on her. She's moving around. It looked like a little bit of a twist. And you get a chance to get another look at it. And, yeah, I mean, doesn't play the ball. Clear contact. We talked about the review in the first half. Was there contact on the elbow? And in this case, it ends up being the right call. I mean, well, they're gonna confirm whether or not it's the right call in a second. But Hoppy's going inside here after getting the basketball, and this looks pretty clear to me. I mean, Bristow's not really going for the ball there. She's going for the arm to kind of whip her around, and my guess is that's going to stand.
They did not take long on this one. Intentional foul on Heaven Bristow for unnecessary contact is the call. St. John's will shoot 2 and then inbound the basketball. Really well explained by this veteran crew. This crew's done a great job.
Oh, they've been phenomenal. There's no question about that. And that's the thing, John. I mean, not everybody likes when, we have to constantly, and then, we haven't constantly gone to the replay monitor in this game, but for me, and maybe I'm in the minority when it comes to this at times, but yeah, it can take a while. But if you get the call right, that's the whole point of going to the monitor. And that's why the officials have taken the time to make sure on these 2 calls that we've had, the one in the first half on the elbow, that ended up being just a common foul. That was, at the time, Baskerville. And in this case, John, they look at the intentional foul and got it right on the floor. They just wanted to make sure, and they get the call right. I mean, that's the whole point. And at times you hear people that don't like it because it's ruining the pace of the game, but I'd rather get the call right and take a little extra time than get it wrong, and we save a few seconds.
Right. And they've gotten both calls absolutely right.
And it took the words right out of my mouth. That's the big thing to keep in mind. The officials have not only used the time to perfection, they've gotten both calls right, and that's the big deal, and they've done a great job in this game. No question about that.
A foul underneath on Webb. Hoppy the kick to the corner. And England buries the 3. Tiana England with her first triple of the game. She's got 9.
Just like that, John. 1 minute run here, 7-0 run for the Red Storm, and Providence hasn't scored for almost 2.5 minutes.
Scott flips it up, short. Battle for the ball, and it will stay with the Friars.
And this has been, in large part, John, to the Baskerville's foul trouble. I mean, she was so key early on in that first quarter, and without her on the floor, it's just a different Friar team, and you can see it specifically on the defensive end. And at the moment, Johnnies are fighting for it on both ends. They're rolling at the moment. They got a 14-point lead on the Big East Digital Network.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's break it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. the 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Back here at Alumni Hall in Providence, the birthplace of the Big East Conference, two longtime rivals, St. John's and the Friars, 72nd all-time meeting. And we got a 14-point game here. St. John's in control on a 7-0 run. Just coming at the Friars in different ways offensively. You've got Hoppy with 14. Tiana England just got in on the three-point action. And the Red Storm, they've really put it together this weekend.
It stemmed from an amazing win in Omaha, John, a game that really kind of put St. John's right back in that top four mix. And it's kind of carried over at times in this game. There's been times where Providence has had chances to stem the tide a little bit, get back in the game. But I said it earlier, with Baskerville constantly being in and out of this game, and it's just been a different squad, especially on the offensive end of the floor. But defensively as well, it's taken a toll. And the Red Storm, they keep on coming. It's going to be tough to weather the storm, no pun intended, the rest of the way.
A jump ball that'll belong to St. John's.
Those extra plays, right? Those extra little effort plays. Yep. Emma Nolan's made a couple of them in this second half, and key plays that the best teams in conferences make to win games. I mean, those are the kind of plays that not only save possessions, but steal possessions back as well.
KB back down, doubled. Double dribble. The 8th St. John's turnover. What's at stake here? St. John's, with a win, can get to 9-6 in the Big East. Seton Hall starts the day at 9-5. They're at Creighton. Blue Jays are 7-6, and they need a win today. Webb short on the jumper. You've got Georgetown, Providence, and Xavier carved out for those final three spots. But the 7th spot, Creighton and Nova both at 7-6. Alston could not hit. DePaul 13-1, Marquette 10-4, Butler 9-4. Corner three for Spiewak. Her second.
That's a big shot. Ending the run. And again, there's still 3.5 to go in this quarter. Providence is still kind of just hanging around. But they need the role players with Baskerville sitting out with 4 fouls to step up.
Hoppy with the answer. Q is on fire. Her 4-3.
And right on cue, she knocks it down. I mean, what a tough shot. And right away, a response from the Red Storm. It's going to be tough to make up ground with Q doing her thing.
Spiewak. Not this time.
You can just see it, though, on the offensive end, John. I mean, it's so much more effort it takes for Providence to get a look at times on the offensive end of the floor. And for the Johnnies, I mean, how smooth and easy it was for Hoppy to just get into that three-point shot. I mean, it takes a lot of work to get your offense to run that smoothly. And obviously, Joe Tartamella's had such good guards here for so long with the Red Storm. And he's got another talented group again. And at times, they just make it look so effortless on the offensive end. And even on that drive that Alston missed earlier, John, I mean, the way she can contort her body to fit that space inside to get through and get the shot off, just extremely impressive. Such a great athlete.
Farley gives it away, trying to find Hoppy.
I think Hoppy might have been looking for a bounce pass and got it thrown over her head. She was coming for that. She was coming towards Farley, I think, thinking that she would bounce pass it to her, and instead she chucked it over the top.
Here's Chanel Williams inside to Geary. Geary leads the way for the Friars, 7 points today. And now we got a foul on Correa. Just the first, though, on St. John's.
Well, Providence made that late spurt at the end of the first half, John. They could use another one of those right now.
Webb from way downtown. Hit that from Federal Hill. Back to an 11-point game, Mr. St. Jock. Hoppy, offensive foul, taken by Williams.
That time, Hoppy got a little too far ahead of herself, I think. I think once in a while, Hoppy's gotten a little too aggressive. Oh, Williams is okay. It looked like she was holding her nose. She's still holding her nose off camera at the moment. And good job by the official, just making sure she's okay. She really, I mean, another look at it here. So tough. And she took the brunt of that as she got to the spot, I think, just in time to draw the charge.
Spiewak ball fake. Spiewak, the sophomore, a sharp shooter, leading the way with 8 points. That's what Spiewak was delivering for the Friars earlier this season. This Providence team was in the top 10 nationally in three-point percentage. England, step back. No. Providence can get within 7, perhaps 6. This building can feel it. Where do you go here?
I think you look Williams or you look for Geary. Geary's been good in this second half.
10 on the shot clock. Williams, crossover, fake, fader, got it! Friartown has come alive.
I'm sorry, is Rajon Rondo in the house?
He might be, Sean.
How good was that?
Divine Providence. 7-point game. Correa gives it away. Listen to this crowd.
How good has this stretch been for the Friars? And I talked about it, John. You teed me up well for it. What was going to change? Interior scoring from the guards has been the key, and another late run at the end of a quarter for the Friars has gotten them right back in the game. 7-0 run pending this possession.
The roof's going to pop off here if they can finish the quarter with a bucket. Spiewak, the pull-up. Fight for the rebound, 3 seconds left. We've got a whistle, and a traveling is called on England. So with 2 seconds on the clock, Providence is going to get an opportunity here.
And another great defensive play by Williams here, John. Loses a shoe in the process, making sure she gets back defensively. If it wasn't a travel, she would have picked up another charge.
Into Geary with the heave. That'll do it for quarter number 3. Providence closes the quarter like they did the second on a run. This, a 7-0 surge. And we've got an exciting finish coming here at Alumni Hall on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching St. John's Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead. We got to raise it up.
Take a look at the Big East Digital Network schedule. Villanova and Georgetown underway in D.C., as are Seton Hall and Creighton. You see Villanova on top. Big one out in Omaha right now. Also on YouTube and Caffeine TV. Seton Hall up 15-14 after a quarter. It's critical because Creighton 7-6 in the Big East. You want to avoid that 7th spot. But Seton Hall trying to hang on to the 4th spot in the conference.
And it's a huge discrepancy there, John, obviously, being up towards the 4th spot, or you're possibly trying to fend off the bottom 3 in that first round in Chicago. So it's a really big last couple of weeks in the Big East, and that's why you got to stick around for this one too, John. I mean, St. John's has so much to play for here in this last 10 minutes, and Providence is trying to make it a lot tougher for them when we get to Wintrust Arena.
We talked about the importance of tempo at the top of the show. This has been a Providence-style game.
It really has been. You know, there have been St. John's spurts. They've been on these runs. It's been Q. It's been Tiana England. Providence, for the most part, despite not making a lot of shots, has kept it close to the pace that Coach Crowley wants, and that's why they're hanging around in this game right now.
Williams on the drive was doubled. Spiewak has the hot hand. Just short this time. Here's Hoppy. She's got 17 today. After 15 on Friday against Creighton. Keeping it rolling. Hoppy on the post up and was fouled on the catch by Williams.
Role reversal there.
Yes.
Normally you'd see it cue to Farley inside, and instead it's the reversal on the dump down.
What's impressed you the most about Hoppy today?
Oh, I mean, it's a long list. I think her quickness and her ball handling has really stood out. I've had her a couple times this year, and that always really puts a smile on my face. I love guards that can do that, especially in this conference. But I'll tell you what, Alston's been really good too, and she can do that as well.
Up to 8 points for the Ole Miss transfer.
But also Q's outside shooting. How smooth she gets into her threes. Just want to throw that in there as well. Really impressive.
You think about this St. John's team, Hoppy and England, still only juniors. The fact that Hoppy still has another year, special.
Scary, right?
Yeah. 7 on the shot clock. Geary doubled. They're playing off Williams, and you can see why. Extra opportunity, though. Webb from distance. Kayla Webb. Hello, welcome to the show. 6 points.
Andrea Cooper fighting for the offensive rebound there, John. Made that play happen. Huge shot for the Friars.
Down to a 6-point game. Cooper, though, with the foul.
She's barely played. Gets in there, does the dirty work, gets a huge offensive rebound, and the three is drilled by Webb.
That's the kind of player you were. You'd step in and make that big play, that extra rebound, that hustle play down to the floor. Neither one of us led the team in minutes, but you could count on us to make a play.
I think you're flattering us a little bit too there, John.
It's a Sunday. I'm in a good mood.
I mean, hey, I'm with you. It's a
We'll
great game.
flatter
It's might as well, right? We're drinking the coffee. We're in the
Well, I wish I had a coffee.
We're in the land of Dunkin'. Why not?
Yeah, there's a Dunkin' downstairs. Didn't get a chance to get down there. Hoppy. Short. Back to the Friars. What are you looking for from Providence down the stretch here offensively?
It's been starting with the defensive end, I think. I mean, the way they've been kind of locking down at times and getting the rebounds. I mean, that's been key. Making it one and done for St. John's has been huge, John. And then you get those extra possessions, and now you're starting to see the role players get involved offensively.
Erlette's got wide open, and she capitalizes. Her first points of the second half. And to your point, Providence was out-rebounded by 7 in the first half. In this half, 9-8, Friars. Timeout, St. John's.
I mean, the pressure's on right now. No question about that. Joe Tortomella is not happy with the way his team's playing right now. Don't look now. The Friars are in this on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we're at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's break it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
$7:43 to go. Alumni Hall, Providence, Rhode Island. John, we were talking about it earlier and during the break as well. I mean, we see her coming back on the floor now, but 9 minutes so far for Mary Baskerville. She's got 8 points, but despite the foul trouble, they've stuck around in this game, and despite her only playing 9 minutes, the Providence Friars are within 4 with 7:40 to go. We're in for a good finish here.
The last 5 meetings between these two teams have been decided by 2 possessions or less. Could we see a 6th straight? Farley on the back down. And Baskerville wouldn't let her have it, but a foul. A foul called on Geary.
It was great defense by Baskerville with 4 fouls there, John, but a bit of a bailout on the weak side, it looked like. Geary just kind of got a little too physical.
Farley can't hit. Baskerville comes up with it. Providence was down by 16. Baskerville. Farley with defense. Hoppy kick. KB. They played off her.
A little surprised she didn't take that shot. She's been knocking it down. That was a good look where the Red Storm loved to get it and passed up on it.
KB on the post up, and the senior's fouled.
This is great action by the Red Storm underneath, and KB just works so hard. Again, size doesn't matter there. She's able to get up and under and draw the foul. And now, John, I don't think we were thinking about saying this in the first quarter, but these are big free throws here with 6.5 to go, trying to extend this game out. And again, the Red Storm had a 6-point cushion at the end of the first quarter, 8 at the half.
Oh, in and out. KB, a 74% free throw shooter in conference play.
But you're seeing the pressure, again, late Big East Conference games. 1 or 2, I think Providence would take that.
The Friars have shot 5 of 8 from 3 in this second half after 0 of 8 in the first. Scott all the way will head to the line for 2. Hoppy fouled her. That's her third.
And it started through that penetration. I mean, I think that, when we're talking strictly offensively, and obviously getting the stops defensively for Providence has been huge, John, in this second half. But when Providence gets penetration, they're making things happen. They're making plays, and now making their free throws too. And I'll say this, Coach Crowley's expression is night and day compared to the first half. He knows his team's got a chance here.
Erlette Scott, clutch on the free throws. And Jim Crowley talked about how much he played as freshman last year. Scott played in all 35 games. We're seeing that pay off in moments like this. The sophomore looked poised.
No question about that. You're seeing the composure that we didn't see a lot of in the first half starting to come through here in the second half, and it's coming down to the wire.
Hoppy, short, over the back foul on Nolan. These Friars only have 1 Big East win. They are 1-12, but they have been oh so close. As Nolan commits the foul, is today the day that they get over the top?
Well, it's going to come down to one thing, John, that Providence hasn't done a lot of in Big East Conference play. It's be consistent down the stretch, and there's a long way to go in this game. We know how lethal the Johnnies can be in the blink of an eye. This is a big possession. You feel like the Friars have to get over that hump, and that means take the lead to have a chance to pull this off.
Baskerville backdoor, and 1! She'll go to the line to tie the game.
John, that's the loudest Alumni Hall's been all day. And a chance to tie it. Yes, tie it at the line. Huge bucket with 4 fouls for Baskerville.
2 for 2 today at the line. We are tied at 44. St. John started this game on a 24-8 run. Listen to Alumni Hall. Ten on the timer. KB, long, Correa, the freshman, comes up big.
How big was that? Got the mismatch on the offensive glass. Easy putback. Much needed for the Red Storm.
Webb on the cut. Nolan cut her off. She was trying to get it to Cooper. A couple of freshmen playing some big-time minutes and stepping up for the Red Storm.
She's made a couple of those plays, John, those extra effort plays. That can be huge down the stretch.
Nolan out to Hoppy. Oh, don't leave Q open. You will pay. Timeout, Jim Crawley. Kadasha Hoppy. 5 trifectas on the afternoon.
You're watching Providence Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
At St. John's University, our students believe, serve, explore, and achieve. A Catholic, Vincentian, metropolitan, and global university, we are at the heart of where lives are enriched. We provide a transformative education that goes far beyond the classroom. We aspire to do more. And for nearly 150 years, the St. John's story has been the story of New York City. We are New York's team. We are St. John's.
Taking a look at St. John's upcoming schedule. How about the showdown with Seton Hall next Saturday on the Big East Digital Network?
Oh, it's huge. And they could play each other again in Chicago. So that's a big-time game, not only for seeding, but as far as looking forward to Chicago, wouldn't mind seeing a trifecta of Seton Hall, St. John's, but that game is always a fun game to watch. No question about that.
For this Providence team playing the spoiler, trying to get to the Big East tournament with some momentum and win a first-round game. They are at Xavier, a Kids Day game, Friday.
And then those last two, John, couple of spoiler opportunities again. Villanova comes to town, final day of the regular season. Boy, a lot of great matchups to end the regular season, John, on March 1st. Villanova, Providence, I believe Butler playing Seton Hall in South Orange. A lot of great matchups. As a little taste in the end for what we could see in Chicago.
What are you looking for here from the Friars in response?
I'd go inside. I'd go right back inside. And again, make the decision. Either go to the rim or maybe find one of these open shooters, try to knock down a three, but I'd look for some penetration first.
Spiewak with it. She's got 8 points. Now it's Webb. On the give. How about Correa stepping in? But we got a timeout. A timeout taken by Jim Crawley as Scott went to save it. And now Jim Crawley only has one timeout left with 4:15 on the clock. That is a major sequence. They've just used 2 timeouts in 30 seconds.
One thing, and this is the only thing I could think of, John. The arrow would have given it back to St. John's if that was called a jump ball on the floor. That's possibly a game changer because if the Red Storms score there, though you can't assume that, could be a 7 or an 8 point lead. However, late game execution now becomes a lot harder for Providence because you only got one timeout to play with here. And that could really be crucial down the stretch where you have maybe another loose ball opportunity. But it is pretty important right now to have possession if you're the Friars. You need to try to get it back to a one-possession game. It's a big possession, but only having one timeout with 4 minutes to play, that could end up coming back to haunt them depending on how this plays out.
Pull up for Scott, long. And so you take that timeout, it's an empty possession.
And that's where it could come back and hurt you. No question about that. But I think Jim Crowley would rather get that possession and finish it off than give it back to the Red Storm on the arrow. That must have been the thinking.
Here's Hoppy. Off to Nolan. Hoppy's got 20. 5 on the timer. Hoppy, crossover into Nolan. What a give, but a rejection by Geary and a shot clock violation.
And Nolan called her own number. She dove right to the basket. It was really well executed by Hoppy. But a great block using the size and the length by Geary. And it ends up being a big-time block and now a huge possession for the Friars.
Scott for three. She hesitated before even taking it.
Didn't look good by her release there, John, like you said. Great look, too. It was a great look. Just rushed it.
Offensive foul on a screen set by Nolan. Well, we've got 3:06 left. There's 4 other games on the Big East Digital Network going on. Villanova and Georgetown in a 1-point game at the half. Seton Hall and Creighton are tight out in Omaha. We got Butler Marquette going on, DePaul Xavier. So head to YouTube, head to Caffeine TV. After this one ends, you could have a quad box going on.
What a great buffet of Big East hoops, huh?
You're making me hungry.
Everywhere you go, you got some good action.
Yeah, exactly. 3 minutes left. Can Providence find some magic in these pink threads? There's something about them. Geary looking to Baskerville. Baskerville could not finish. Scramble for the ball. We've got a foul on St. John's. And Providence is in the bonus. Joe Tartamella.
Incensed.
Yeah, he is not having it right now.
I think it's KB who gets called for the foul. And she's looking for an explanation. And there's your penny for your thoughts, Joe Tartamella. That was a tough call. Could have gone either way. And that's why it's big. Chance to cut it to a one-possession game here at the free throw line.
The discussion ongoing. Joey T entertaining as always. And he knew that was crucial because Baskerville's been so good at the free throw line. She's now 5 for 5 today.
And now it's back to a 3-point game. 2.5 to play. And that's, again, 2 huge points down the stretch.
To simplify things for St. John's offensively. Hoppy has 20, nobody else in double figures. It'll stay with the Johnnies, but if you're Providence defensively, you cannot let her be the one to beat you.
Can't be her. And she's easy to pick out. She's got the great red hair going for the Red Storm.
Exactly.
Make sure you keep that red hair covered.
Exactly, Sean.
Because that red is as hot as her shooting has been in this game. Red hot.
5 of 8 from 3. 5 of her 6 field goals have been threes. England off the screen. Had 9 assists Friday, so good at dishing it. Now she's got it again with 6. England on the drive, kick out, KB. Short. Friars get the stop they needed. 2:15 left. What a game. Spiewak for the tie. That was rushed.
Took the words right out of my mouth, John. Not the look Providence would have wanted on that possession. But, in my opinion, you get bailed out with a timeout there by Joe Tartamella. You get to regroup.
St. John's has 2 timeouts left.
I get that. Little surprised he took it there. Only because that would have been huge to get a basket off of that missed shot and kind of regain the control. But you get a chance to draw up a play for Q. I think that might take priority. Try to get her a good look here. Maybe put a little dagger in there as well.
And it gives Providence a timeout, which they only have 1 left.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm a little surprised they took it, because
I think
Friars
it's
coming off a poor shot at the other end. You get a chance to really ram it down their throat on this end. Then you give Providence a chance to re-examine their defensive possession here. And again, John, in the half court, Providence has guarded St. John's extremely well in the second half. Johnnies are only at 49 points right now. Remember, they average 73 per game. Providence is doing something right on the defensive end in this game, and in the half court, they've made it really tough on the Red Storm. We'll have to see what the Johnnies go to here. You have to think Q's going to be involved somehow if she can get the ball.
Seven on the shot clock for England. Not a good look. Rebound by Baskerville. Baskerville, the kick. Geary for the tie. We got a foul, and St. John's is in the bonus. 2 free throws coming.
John, what a crazy, crazy possession leading to that three. I think it was Farley who got hurt and was left behind the play, and then another Red Storm player went down.
The foul's on Baskerville, and that's her 5th foul.
Wow, crucial down the stretch.
These are the types of things. You see Jim Crowley as she's coming off.
Yeah, he can't believe it.
Well, and just begs the question, how is that happening? This late in the game for a sophomore, Providence has been in this predicament so much, and there's just times this year, Sean, like we just saw, where all you can do is kick yourself because that all started from a pass to Baskerville and all the attention she draws.
No question. And it came off a wild possession where you had 2 wide open Friars on that three because 2 Johnny defenders went down, one on the rebound and then one on a screen on the baseline. It opens that up, you tie the game, and then on the other end, Johnny's force it down inside, and it ends up being the 5th foul on Baskerville. And I gotta give her a lot of credit. Still leading the team today with 13 points. She leads the team with 7 rebounds. She has 3 assists. That also leads the team. She's barely played at times in this game because of the foul trouble, and yet is still leading the team in all the major categories. But again, you lose her for the final minute 12. It could be crucial down the stretch. But boy, John, I think you just got to, at least for the moment, a ton of credit to this Friars team because of the Baskerville foul trouble for a lot of this game, because of the fact that a lot of the role players struggled in the first half to get going. They have forced a ton of turnovers. The Johnnies have, at the moment, 14 of them, and they've made them pay on the offensive end of the floor for not putting them away in the third quarter. And now the Johnnies haven't scored in 3.5 minutes and are 2 of their last 10 from the field. And we got a heck of a finish upcoming.
Geraldine Smith just told us they've gone to the monitor to check if there's any extra contact on that foul on Baskerville. So they are checking this play out.
Well, now we're really getting down to it. That's going to be big if they see anything extra on that foul. Regardless, the Red Storm will have a chance to take the lead. Another look at it here, and oh yeah, there was an elbow and it hit the eye. I believe that was Farley.
Yes, Kevin Dillard just checked in and made sure. I'll tell you what, this crew has been tremendous in making us aware of what's going on. And they've had a tough game today.
They have been on top of it,
well,
no question about that.
Here's one positive for Providence. They're getting free timeouts.
Yes. Doesn't look so bad now, right, I guess? They've had a couple now to kind of regroup. And they still have one left. They didn't use it yet, so they've still got an extra timeout. And now with 1:12 to go, it's like, yeah, we're good. We got one timeout if we need it on a loose ball or if we're looking for an extra possession and things like that. It's just been a crazy game down the stretch. And now, John, you know what's interesting as well with Providence? They played most of the game without Baskerville, and they've been able to keep themselves in this game. This might not be as big of a loss as it normally would be to have her out of the game, because they've played most of the game without her there, and they've done well to stay in this thing. And it looks like we get...
Okay, so they've determined nothing.
Again, I think it might come down to it being unintentional on the elbow swing there. And it's just going to be 2 free throws at the line for Alston. And again, John, a great job by the crew. They were right down to it. They were on top of the play. They used enough time to take a look at it. They were convinced, and I think they made the right call again.
Alston hits the first. Alyssa Alston, a 72% free throw shooter. Up to 10 points, the second Johnny in double figures. So no Baskerville due to 5 fouls. Where are you going?
I like the way Geary's been playing down the stretch. It's a 2-point game. I think if you can get her the ball in a good spot, I think I'd feel good about the shot.
12 on the shot clock. Here's Scott. They do have 1 timeout. Now 8 on the timer. Scott weaves her way through, or lets Scott clutch. We're tied at 51.
How the heck did she get that to go? She was in no man's land for about 5 seconds.
St. John's with 2 timeouts, not taking it here. Hoppy has 20. Hesitation, and she was fouled. Dasha Hoppy fouled by Alyssa Geary, her 3rd. And so this is who you want at the line. Over 80% from the free throw line. Hugh looking to give St. John's the edge.
Providence has made her work for everything in this second half, John. And the reason they're still hanging around in this game, they've kind of kept her quiet at times.
Providence with 1 timeout left. Hoppy hits it. We'll see if Jim Crawley uses it. He's not using it thus far. Wow, 15 seconds left. Will they go for the tie or the win? Providence looks lost. Timeout. Now, where was that from the start?
You know, Geary was setting a screen there, John, and I think she just kind of got caught up at the top of the key. And when Williams drove towards the baseline, I think she kind of realized there was nowhere to go and pulled it back out. And that's when Jim Crowley said, all right, we're not going to get a good look here. We need to get a timeout. And listen, I think that was, you know, when you're talking about using some clock there, you had time to see, hey, can we go and can we get a good shot? We use a lot of clock. Still have about 7 seconds to go. All right, we'll call a timeout. We got the timeout that we still had from earlier. Let's draw something up. You'd love to have Baskerville here, but you don't.
I feel like you got to go for the win.
I think you're at home. I think it'd be, with the way the season's gone.
And let's face it, 5-minute overtime. Who's winning that?
You'd give St. John's a pretty good advantage. But the way Providence has been defending, they get a 2-pointer here. I think they'd take overtime. The way they've been defending in the half court, they'd have a punch. They'd have a shot. There's no question about that because, listen, John, haven't heard a lot from Q as far as scoring a lot in this fourth quarter. The defense has really picked up, but like you said, without Baskerville, the Johnnies would still have that advantage. I think here you look best shot available. If you get a 2, you get a 2. If you get a 3, you get a 3, and you take it with confidence.
The Friars looking for a major upset. Timeout, Joe Tardamella. He'll answer. He has 1 left. Providence is out of timeouts. 6.8 left. What does this finish mean? St. John's is 8-6 in the Big East, looking for the weekend sweep. Traveling over 1,400 miles from Omaha to Friartown. And if the Johnnies can win, they go to 9-6. And with a Seton Hall loss today, St. John's will jump into 4th place in the Big East with a showdown with their rival next Saturday at Carnesecca Arena, as they'll try to go for the season sweep of the Pirates. A loss today, you're back to 8-7, and you're back into that nervousness of possibly being in the bottom 4 of your league. And if you're in the bottom 4, that means you're playing round 1 of the Big East tournament. That bye is so crucial. 6.8 left. Friars looking for a shocker. Scott, we've got a foul. Will they count it? They're saying it's on the floor. Jim Crawley is arguing that she was going up.
Are you kidding me?
They're going to debate this.
Oh my goodness, John. Did you see the replay?
I'm watching it right now.
That's close. It counts.
They're counting the basket. Unbelievable. Unbelievable call. The crew is counting the basket. Joe Tardamella is shocked.
Well, now, wait a minute. Was that a 2 or was that a 3? That's the next question. Was that a 2 or was that a 3-point shot? Here's a look at it. That's a 2. That's a 2-point shot and the foul. Chance for a 3-point play at the line. And whoa. And Scott is 4.6 seconds away from being a hero at Alumni Hall.
Sean.
Holy smokes.
Where that whistle came, it's clearly a 2. Erlette Scott is going to go to the free throw line. I got to tell you, I cannot believe this. I thought for sure they originally motioned on the floor. They did. They motioned on the floor.
It was quick. It was a quick, confident call. But I'll tell you what, the replay, there's some dispute there. It's where the contact is made, and it's.
We went to the monitor to see if it was a 2 or 3. We got a foul on the play. 2-point field goal is good. 1 shot for Providence here.
You just heard it.
There you go.
From Kevin Dillard. And so now Erlette Scott, a 77% free throw shooter. Now, St. John's has 1 timeout. You can advance the ball. So if Scott makes this free throw, all hope is not lost. 4.6 seconds is plenty of time for St. John's, and they have a timeout to advance it. Providence leads. Timeout St. John's. Providence lost by 26 on Friday to Seton Hall. They were down by 16 today. St. John started the game on a 24-8 run.
Beginning of this weekend, right? You're thinking, oh man, number 10 Seton Hall's coming into town at the Dunk, and St. John's is coming on the women's side. This could be a tough weekend if you're a Providence Friars fan. Well, you know what? The Friars weathered the storm. Seton Hall came from 25 down. They hung on. Friars won that game at the Dunk last night. And they're 4.6 seconds away from pulling off an upset double deluxe in Friartown.
I'm still in shock.
Holy smokes.
We all are. This arena is right now. Alumni Hall is stunned. The call went the home faithful's way.
It did.
But it is one that is very debatable. Erlette Scott threw up a prayer after it looked like there was a whistle for a foul before she even put the shot up. They did call it a continuation. This crew has had a lot of tough calls today. That was the call. That's why you put up the shot, though. That's why we see players do it all the time.
And that's the thing. And it's where the contact is. I mean, that's the thing. But like you said, John, because of how early the whistle was, it's why it was kind of surprising to see them change the call. But on the replay, you can kind of see maybe why they decided to do that.
4.6 left. St. John's looking to avoid the upset. Alston for the win. Denied by Scott. Divine Providence. The Friars knock off the Red Storm. That's it. St. John's was up 16. There's something about the pink. The Friars pull off an absolute shocker.
What a crazy game, John. I mean, there's just no question about it. What a weekend for Friartown. A win over number 10 Seton Hall on the men's side last night, and then an unbelievable, shocking win over the Red Storm today.
Arlette Scott on her way over here. Arlette Scott, what a performance today. And coming up with the game-winning sequence, we'll take a quick break and be back with...
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
The Providence Friars were down by 16, but they never gave up, and they get rewarded for it. Arlette Scott with the game-winning three-point play, and the sophomore joining us now. Arlette, what are you thinking on the final play offensively where you put up that shot as you get fouled?
Coach said to never stop fighting, and I just tried to make a play with really nothing. So credit to my teammates. They got me the ball, and yeah, I'm so happy.
We've watched so many games, like you, I'm sure you watched so many games. Was it just going through your head, hey, put up the shot?
Yeah. Being from New York, I always looked up to St. John's and everything, so just being them was really good. Yeah, just credit to my teammates. They helped me through everything.
What a fight. I mean, you guys never gave up in this game. St. John's had a big lead at the half, late in the third quarter as well. What was the key to keep persevering in this game?
Just being down 16, we had in our minds, like, cut it down to 8. Being down 8, cut it down to 4. And when we was down 4, we said we got to take the lead. So just having winning little minutes, like 2-minute halves, not like, media. So just winning little games made us win today.
And with how important Mary Baskerville's been for you guys this year, she deals with foul trouble the whole game, but so many players like you stepped up. I mean, what does that say about this team?
It just says that we have a lot of depth and we could go against the best on any day.
For this team, though, to be 1-12 in Big East play, could have been easy to give up. Why hasn't this team given up?
We just keep fighting. We know that our record doesn't define us, and we're just going to keep fighting to the end. So if this is the game we had to come up against, then we just had to do it.
I think you should wear these pink threads every night.
I think so, too. These are good luck, definitely.
And you were the hero today. Arlette, congratulations on an amazing win.
Thank you.
We'll take one more timeout and be back with final thoughts. Great stuff.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
On any given day in the Big East, you just never know what you're going to see. And today, St. John's looked like they were going to handle business. And the Providence Friars, this is some serious Friartown magic. A 54-53 win for their second conference win, had been 1-12 in the Big East. Sean St. Jacques, John Fanta here with you to wrap it up. This was simply an incredible comeback victory.
The Johnnies had such a great start to the game, right? They got out, they were playing their kind of basketball. It was up-tempo. Hoppy was fantastic. England was making things happen. Down low, they really got everything going in the first half, and then 16-point lead. You're thinking, all right, the Johnnies are in good shape, and if they do what they're supposed to do, they're going to finish it off. But Mary Baskerville, even with her in foul trouble, you just kind of felt like the Providence never was really out of this game. They kept fighting and fighting. And down the stretch, they made the shots they needed to make. What a heck of a finish that was on the foul call at the end. And Providence pulls off an absolute stunner, and they got to be counting their lucky stars. What an amazing game. And the Johnnies, like you said, John, are now in a little bit of trouble as we're going towards the end of the season. St. John's now has to play Seton Hall coming up, and that game just became a whole lot bigger for them.
They had such a complete performance at Creighton.
Yeah.
A Creighton
Great
team
point.
who's led by Jalen Agnew, but they shut her down. And yet St. John's, it's almost like that gets all washed away here today. But for Providence, Sean, a young team, a team that's been trying to learn how to win, this is a massive leap for them today.
It is. I mean, again, they were picked. Remember, they were tied 5th in the preseason, pull a lot of high expectations going into this season. Hasn't exactly panned out. But Jim Crowley got it the way he wanted it today. It was a slower pace. They defended so well in the half court all game long. They kept fighting till the end, and they got the reward for it. You feel so good for those kids. They've been having such a tough season in conference play. But, John, they just changed the entire landscape of the Big East. That's what a spoiler is all about. And the Providence Friars and their fans. How good was the fan base here
great
today?
crowd.
They deserve a lot of credit, and they should enjoy their weekend. What a heck of a game.
A spoiler roll, and spoil they did. What a game. SSJ, always fun, partner.
A lot of fun, my friend.
For our producer, Matt Hodges and Sean St. Jacques, this is John Fanta saying so long from Friartown. Divine Providence strikes for a massive upset in the Big East. 4 other games going on the Big East Digital Network. Get there now as a wild Big East Women's Hoop Sunday continues.